Welcome. I'm Laurie Elston, and this is my workshop on how to write your LNC and Expert Witness reports. This is an area where you need to be skillful because if your report writing is not good, you're not going to make a good impression. And the attorney may not hire you again, particularly if you're an expert witness, because their reports have to be the most accurate in terms of opinions and what they're based on. So it is an area where it takes time to develop your writing skills, and not everyone knows the rules of grammar, punctuation, and all the things that lawyers pay attention to because we're wordsmiths. And so writing is a huge part of our profession. And we have very high standards in terms of the writing that we submit to courts. So we in turn really notice if people don't have good punctuation, don't have good grammar, if they misspell something, if the sentence doesn't make sense or it's hard to read, those things jump off the page. And I'm going to try and give you a lot of information that will give you a head start on what to keep in mind and how to write it. So I'm going to pull up my slides for the workshop today and go over what topics we'll be covering. As you know, I reside in Pismo Beach, California, so I decided to start with a little shot of Pismo Beach there on the bottom. And this is what I have on my a couple of my sites just to personalize it. And the topics when it comes to report writing is I'm starting with first things first. And that's going to be kind of a primer on what attorneys are looking for and what you need to say when you're discussing a report that you're going to be preparing for them. And that's a question that a lot of LNCs have. What does the attorney want? Well, I'm going to give you some of those answers today. And I'm going to be going over different types of reports. There's merit screens, chronologies, medical summaries. Pain and suffering is one I'll touch on. Expert witness report and IME, DMEs, which are the defense medical. And there's more, but that's a pretty good overview of the major areas where LNCs will be writing reports. And there are special legal requirements in the law if you're providing opinions on negligence or you're an expert witness. And so I'm going to go over some of the legalities of what the law says must be in your report. And we'll talk a bit about how to research standards of care, because that's going to be pretty universal to various different reports. And then I've provided you in those 55 pages an outline for each of the different types of reports that we're discussing, and then what to write in each section. So I've really broken things down for you here, because I know people can have a hard time getting started. They may sit down to write and it's a moment where you're wondering, how do I start? Where do I start? And so an outline helps people get past that writing block, because then it's broken down into different tasks, and you can start doing one task at a time, and at the end we'll have your report. And then I will go over some formatting, some writing, some how to cite journals and other sources like that, because I include this in almost every LNC course I teach. A little bit on writing, a little bit on punctuation, a little bit about how to abbreviate, because again, the attorneys are going to notice this. If we don't cite something correctly, the judge might call us out on that, because it's expected that you're going to provide certain information, and it needs to be accurate, and it needs to be done in a format that's recognized. So that's the standard that they're comparing you to when you provide them with reports. And it's a high level of detail and accuracy. And then I've attached sample reports for all of these types. I'm going to go through some screening summaries. Some will be affidavits of merit for those states that have that. We'll go through some sample chronologies. I'm going to go through a sample case report that was a motor vehicle accident. So those of you who are looking for some personal injury report writing, that will be helpful. And in this particular one, there was also allegations of medical malpractice. So I will go over that as well. And as you can see, I said it includes some pointers I'll make about what not to do in your reports. And I always think that's helpful. We'll go through multiple examples of what you should do, and then at least one example of what not to do. And I do that pretty much in every workshop because I think that really helps with learning and understanding. I'll go through a brief medical summary where it's very focused, and then I'll go through a nurse expert witness report. That is pretty involved. The report itself is about 10 or 11 pages. And if you were in the last workshop, I gave you the 16-page chronology that led up to this expert witness report. And that is a good approach to use when you're writing an expert witness report, is to start with a chronology of the facts and then write your report. And then the last example is a defense medical exam, which I know some are trying to learn how to do. And of course, that has a very different orientation and format than these other types of reports. So it's no wonder that LNCs are looking for help with writing reports because it covers a very broad array of topics. And to give you a little information, if you don't know me, I originally was a registered nurse in a large acute care medical center for 7 years. I was charge nurse, and then I went to law school. And I graduated cum laude and on law review. And probably that's where part of my attention to citing details comes into play. You're on law review if you have an article that you've written that was published. And what I did when I was on law review is I was assigned to check the cites in other attorneys' papers to make sure they've cited correctly. So, not an exciting job, but you do learn to appreciate the details. And I've been an attorney for about 35 years now. The first 10 years I practiced in Seattle and did medical malpractice litigation defense. So I was representing healthcare providers in med mal cases. And I also was asked by the University of Washington to teach in their paralegal program. And I really have enjoyed teaching. So that is why I continue to do things like today's workshop. I've been licensed as an attorney in California for over 30 years or 25. And I've been doing a wide variety of lecturing here in this state. Sometimes I go into institutions and teach their nursing staff aspects of nursing laws. And other times I have held LNC training courses and continuing education classes. And I'm an approved continuing education provider by the Board of Nursing here. So really a wide variety of experience. And I bring all that when I share these classes with you.